Hey comic book fans, welcome to Comic Fix. Now this is part 3 in this week of reviews, and the final reviews for my DC Comics that I got this week. Now, to start things off, we got Aquaman, issue number 14, The Throne of Atlantis Prelude. Now, I'm a little excited for The Throne of Atlantis. It's Geoff Johns' baby that he's been kind of building up for quite a while. We did see a little bit of it in the first story arc of, I think it was issue number 7 or 8 in Justice League of America, or not America, but just Justice League, where we saw the Throne of Atlantis coming up, and it says the next event by Geoff Johns. And so I've been really stoked for it, and we finally got the Prelude. Now with the Prelude, I'm never really excited for it because it's a prelude after all. I mean, there's nothing in there that, it's just there to set the tone for the whole entire series. And that's what this book does. There's a lot of conversations in here. There's little action. There's just little set pieces just setting up the plot lines for what Geoff Johns wants to tell. And I love the beginning, though. The beginning, it takes place in the 1820s, where this captain is going after, it looks like something out of like the book Moby Dick, where he's going after this creature. And what is this creature? But it's one of the Atlanteans. And you just see the Atlantean just trying to run away from this ship. And eventually he does get captured. And he's being strung up, and the captain finally shows why he's doing what he's doing. And what happened is that they basically landed a shark, and in the shark's mouth was an Atlantean woman. And they assumed that the woman would thank him in, you know, a very unpleasant way. But she didn't. She killed a couple of the men and took the captain's eye, and basically she got killed off. So the husband is there to take down this ship, and it's just such a good, intense first match. You get to see how the reaction is between the humans versus the Atlanteans, the first real battle that they had. And it's so cool to see in these pages. And then at the end, you see that the captain is told we're surrounded, and you see all of these Atlanteans all around the ship. And then you jump into the now, and you see Aquaman going and using his fish to go and deliver a message to somebody. Now, who that somebody is, well, we'll be able to see just in a little bit. But that is when we jump to, I think it is Belle Reve. Yeah. We go to Belle Reve, where we see Black Manta, and Amanda Waller wants to go and recruit Black Manta into the Suicide Squad. Now that would be so badass, but of course Black Manta doesn't want that to happen. So this guard who wants to come up to the ranks gets the thing saying that Amanda Waller's coming and that she's going to be given the paperwork for him to join the Suicide Squad. So this guy, he wants to show Amanda Waller that he got what it takes to go up the chain. So he goes up to Black Manta before Amanda Waller gets there and says, here, we're going to set you free, and you're going to join Amanda Waller and her team. Black Manta, he's like, hell no am I going to do that. I'm not going to die for Amanda Waller. The only one I'll die for is Aquaman. And it was just such a cool scene. You just see how brutal Black Manta is, and he's going to be a character that's going to be playing out for quite a while. So I'm really stoked to see what that's going to be about. And I love it. After Black Manta goes and kills the guard, you just see the picture of Black Manta just sitting there just being like, hey, Amanda Waller, F you, I'm not going to join your crew. And I just love that scene, just of him just sitting there just all like, you know, like this, just waiting for the Amanda Waller to get there and just being like, F you, Amanda. And it's cool though, because in the DC Comics, there's been 2 characters that they've been really pushing for, and that's Amanda Waller and Shepard. That would be pretty funny. But Trevor, the guy who's dating, who was dating Wonder Woman. So they got those 2 people just being a big cinder block for the DC universe. So that's one thing I really like. And then we jump into this conversation between Aquaman and Aquaman's brother. His brother is now the king of Atlantis, and you get to see them interacting with each other, and that's so cool. I mean, to have this conversation between these two princes, and one was a king, and he rejected everything and went back to the land to live, and the brother basically took the place of it. And the brother is actually pretty happy to see his Aquaman, and basically tells him, "Hey, I understand why you're not coming to Atlantis, why you decided to live with the humans, and I accept that. But Aquaman, he's like, this is not a social call. I want to know, did you have any involvement with Black Manta? And are you going to be attacking the land dwellers?" There's just such a tension in there. Like the tension between the two was just so unique, and you're just like, man, I love the way that the artist depicted the Aquaman's brother. He is always in the shadows, and it's just so cool to see. I just love just this conversation. Usually conversations in comics can be just killer for an issue. Just be like, it killed the issue. But not in this one. This one, it set the tone for the whole entire series. And for a person who has been reading Aquaman since day one in the New 52, I got a lot out of this. But a new person coming on, I don't believe that they're going to get as much out of it as they could. But Jeff Johns, he does such a great job at these events that I think he's going to do a great job at this one. And also, this one issue by Jeff Johns is so much better than any issue that he's done of the Green Lantern, the Third Army, any of those single issues. This issue, it feels like Jeff Johns has a plan for the series, and it's going to be big. I cannot wait to read issue number 15 that will come out in about 3 weeks. But this issue right here, it had a lot for me, but I know that it will not have a lot for people because it doesn't have any action in there. All it has is set up for what's to become. So in the end, I'm going to give Aquaman issue number 14 a 3 out of 5. I can't give it any much more because the reason why I said there was like not a lot of action, but I did get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And also in this one, it's the first time we had a new artist in here, Pete Woods. He did a pretty good job. I did enjoy especially his flashback scene, but the scenes where some scenes with Aquaman did look a little bit off. But I think he's going to be doing a pretty good job. And I do know that the original artist of Aquaman is going to be doing Justice League with Jeff Johns, so it's going to be some cool stuff. The next book I have is The Flash, issue number 14. And we got Grodd versus the Flash. And the Grodd right now is just steroid upped with the with the Speed Force. So you know right away this is gonna be cool. And it is, I mean, Francis Manapul and Brian Buccellato just pull out all the punches in this issue, and just the artwork is just so freaking gorgeous. I mean, this is like probably the best issue that these guys have done to date, and that's saying a lot because man, these guys are just killer at every single thing they do. I mean, especially this one. I love it though. You know, the Flash goes up to King Grodd, punches him, and you just see the Speed Force, just the suit of his breaking off right when he hits Gorilla Grodd. I mean, it's just so powerful, just like, holy cow. I mean, you really fear Grodd. And then we get some parts with Turbine, and getting to see him interacting with the Flash's girlfriend and some of the police force members. And this is some cool stuff. I mean, he knows exactly what's going on. He's been living in the Speed Force for God knows how long, and he's finally out. And all he wants to do is help the Flash and basically get everything back to normal. So we get some cool scenes with him. We get some good interaction with all the characters just in this hellhole. I mean, everything is just going wrong. King Grodd has taken over Keystone City And like that, I mean, he just comes on the scene. Him and his army just bulldoze everything. You got the villain trying to help out, trying to save their city, which they always try to destroy. And it's just some great comic action. There's so much action in this book. There's some great storytelling. And there's actually a couple, like 2 pages where we actually get to see the people trapped in the Speed Forces. We haven't seen or heard anything about them for probably about 5 issues now. But in this single issue, we get some loose ends, kind of getting a little bit a nod to that they are going to be tied up pretty soon. So there's some good stuff here. I love the artwork. Just a whole bunch of action between King Grodd and the Flash. And I just cannot wait to read the next issue. This issue just read so quickly, and just the artwork is just so grand in its scale that it's so beautiful. I mean, if you're not reading The Flash, why aren't you? This book, the art is just gorgeous beyond belief. I mean, every single scene in this book just had, pound for pound, just had a punch to it. And you cannot say that about a lot of comics. And the writing is just getting so much better. And I like it that they're actually getting all the loose ends tied up. This issue right here of The Flash was easily the best issue that's had in its whole entire run. Issue number 14 gets a 5 out of 5 in my book. This book was fantastic. I mean, go read it. I mean, I got so excited just by reading it, and it was one of those books that I was kind of, you know, I loved the art, but the writing was kind of not, it was there, but then it was not. It was a very, it was there and then was not. But this one, it was just so tight. The storytelling, it was action, 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 and they're letting the artwork just flow. Great time. Great comic. I mean, it just had great scenes all the way through. The next one is a Teen Titans issue number 14. So, as I said in my comic haul video, Teen Titans is the book that I grew up with, that I just love to death. New 52 happens, and the series, I felt, just went downhill. Scott Liddell, his storytelling in there is not that good. I mean, he does some good stuff every once in a while, but there's a lot of misses in there. But I just cannot help myself into buying a Teen Titans book. I think I will always buy a Teen Titans no matter what. So in here we got Wonder Girl dealing with her boyfriend Diesel, who just stole her armor. And so it's up to Superboy and Red Robin to go and get that armor. The great parts in this book, I think, is just the interaction between these three. These three are the cornerstone, the foundation for the book. And you really do see it here. Scott Liddell's trying to build these characters, build them stronger together. And I just love to see in the interaction. And it's kind of funny, though, to see, because Red Robin and Superboy, you could definitely tell they do have a thing for Wonder Girl. And it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But these two, they're just here to get the job done right now. They want to help out their friend. And then they got some really cool part with Trigon, where Trigon is the devil in the DC universe, and he is the his daughter is Raven, and I love it that they're setting that up in this book, and that Raven is going to be coming very soon. And it's so exciting to see, because if you didn't read Phantom Stranger, issue number 1 or 2, I don't remember which one it was, but in that single issue, we did have Raven in there, and the Phantom Stranger basically told Raven, "I'll help you," and she was actually helping Trigon to get his daughter back. So I see in here we're going to get the Teen Titans eventually going to face Trigon and rescuing Raven from him. So we got some really cool setup from the first couple pages. But then the action scenes happen. And I just hate the artist on how he just like the way that he has Diesel just popping out of nowhere in this very fierce pose. I mean, it was just something like, okay, alright, yep, okay. And then we get a whole bunch of action with some pretty dumb dialogue. The dialogue was very uninteresting, and you were just like, wow, can this book get even more dumb? And the artist in here, I swear, I cannot get into it. He got this anime-ish look to him. All the characters had some big eyes, and I don't know. It's just not my thing. And then especially the way that the artist has Kid Flash in here makes him almost look like a girl, just with the way the hairdo is. It's just really off, and I just look at him just like, huh? Who's this character? Because especially in this scene right here, you just see him and you're just thinking, who the hell is that character? Just some weird stuff. Just some weird storytelling and artists that they have in this thing. And then we got a whole situation with, what's her name? Solstice. Where Solstice, she's been this creature that we just seen like this. Well, some guy comes up to her while she's in the bathroom and basically tells her, hey, I'm just here in a form that I can't see you, but you can see me, and I can help you get back to what you originally looked like. I mean, this is all set up for another story arc that's going to happen, but I just don't feel a cohesiveness between everything. I just feel everything's just a jumbled mess. And it's hard to say that I'm very uninterested in this book. That I'm not getting the Teen Titans that I really want. These Teen Titans don't have a cohesiveness between each other. They don't have that bond that I just really love. There's just no heart to this series. And this issue just proved it with some really terrible dialogue. The art is just bad. And you just feel like you're like left out. I don't know why they keep... if I was DC Comics, I would just try to start anew with this series. Try to get a fresh face in there. Because Scott Liddell, he is not doing it for me. And he's not doing it for a lot of people. I'm going to have to give Teen Titans issue number 14 a 1 out of 5. There's really nothing in here that I could just grasp on and just say, this is what I want. Because this is everything that I don't want. Maybe if Raven comes in there, we'll get a traditional Raven story in there where she should be fighting her demons. And maybe that's what the comic needs. And maybe with someone fighting their own demons. Because Superboy could have been one of those characters that's fighting the demons of the Lex Luthor part of him. Even though we don't know it's Lex Luthor, but it most likely is. And we don't get that. Superboy is kind of little traditional, kind of like Superman, but without the whole boyish or Boy Scout part to him. But he still doesn't have that darkness to him that you see him fighting. Because unlike Superboy in this, the Superboy in his own comic and in the Hell on Earth, he is fighting some demons. You even see that in the Ravengers. The Ravengers, he goes up to them. He's like, help me. I need help from you. And in here, you don't see that. You don't see him fighting his own demons. And it's just... I don't know. Scott Liddell, I'm not digging him in this whole Teen Titans thing. But I'll still pick it up just because I just have such a connection to the Teen Titans, even though it hurts right now to read them. Next up is Earth 2, issue number 7. James Robinson just got done with his first story arc, and in here I heard that we got the promise of Mr. Fantastic, or Terrific. Sorry, not Mr. Fantastic. That would be pretty sick though. But Mr. Terrific coming in, finally coming back into Earth 2. Now does he? Well, let's just see. So we start out the issue with a cool introduction to what the series has done, and I like that. First page, telling you what has happened up to this point, so new readers can come on and just be like, okay, I know what's going on. And then we get some of the best moments in the book with Alan Scott. Alan Scott, in the first 6 issues, he hadn't had to deal with his lover being killed off. He's basically, once his lover was killed off, he was given the ring and he was set on a mission. It was just, everything was just going ahead. But now it's a quiet time, and we get to see him in so much pain and agony. And you just feel so bad for this guy. He just lost his love, and he finally has some time to think about it, and he's not taking it well. He's destroying his own entire house. He just feels so bad that there's nothing he could have done to save him. And to put a dagger in his heart, there was a time in there where the Gray was like, help us, and we will give you back your lover. And they basically showed him an avatar of his lover, and it was just such a heartwarming moment. And then at that moment he noticed, he was like, this is not right. There's something wrong about this. And he finally destroys the Gray. And just that whole thing is just coming to a slow point, and he's finally able to think about all the stuff that's just happened to him. And it feels so human. Because at the end of the last issue, we got to see Alan Scott basically tell Hawkgirl and the Flash, hey, I know what my limitations now are. I don't need you guys anymore. And you see why, how it has affected Alan Scott mentally with the with his boyfriend or his lover being killed off. And so we start, and then he goes out for a little breather, and who does he see but Hawkgirl? And I just love this picture of Hawkgirl, just how her wings are. She just looks so majestic in this one scene. And then I started looking, and I was like, this doesn't look like the original artist on here. No, it's not Nicholas Scott, but it's Yildiar Sinar. I'm sorry. He does a pretty damn good job on this series. I mean, he definitely he's definitely not the original artist, but he's doing a pretty damn good job. So we see her. She basically comes to Alan Scott and says, basically, how are you doing? And you just got this great conversation, and you basically get the origin for Hawkgirl and how she was a woman before she became Hawkgirl and got the wings. She was a rape. She would go and rob graves, or rob tombs to be exact. And she got this one mission, or she got this one phone call from the Earth, from the what do you call them? Basically, the Earth Task Force, to go and do this mission. Which in that mission, she got the power. She got the relic of that gave her the wings. And you got her whole backstory, and it was really cool to see. And then you got her telling her basically this: we need you. You need us. Let's go and be Wanders and go and, do our job. And he basically tells her, no, I'm going to tell you again. I am a person that knows his limitations now, and I am more powerful than you guys will ever be, so I don't need you. And she reminds him, the ring failed you once and it'll fail you again. And at that point, she takes her arrow, her crossbow, shoots it right past him, hits the ring, and hits right dead center at his lover's face. And just to see his face when that happens, you're just like, holy shit. Does she know what she just did? I mean, this is going to have some terrible ramifications, because you just, man, he was a guy at his breaking point, but he's more at his breaking point now than he ever was. So he basically calls on the ring, and there's about to be a big old fight, and then she's gone. And it was kind of misleading with this whole picture of them, but I mean, I was just so intense by seeing what's going to happen. I just love the way the ring just comes right to him, and he's ready to fight, and then she's gone. I mean, I just love that scene, and then you just see a feather just right there, and you're just like, dang, that is so freaking cool. And then there's an extra part in there where you got Khan. Now Khan, he is the world's army's #1 general. And he goes to basically his bosses, and his bosses tell him that the man who basically nuked all these countries to destroy what destroy what was happening before Earth 2 ever, before the series ever started. Oh, what was this? To destroy all the stuff that Darkseid was doing, he basically went and nuked all these specific things like Paris to destroy some of the foundation that Darkseid had on Earth 2, so that Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman could go and take the fight back to Darkseid and basically banish them back into their world. So we got this guy coming back and being told that Sloan, who's the bad guy of this whole entire story, is going to be second in command next to Khan. And Khan does not like this. He says this guy's a homicidal maniac and he may be the smartest man in the whole entire world. But why are you doing this? I mean, and I just love those scenes. And the Sloan's first mission for them to do is that he takes the whole Sandman task force, which I love that Sandman is more of a task force than anything. It's a little cool little change up to what we traditionally think of with Sandman. So the team has been set on a mission by Sloan. And what are they supposed to capture? None other than Mr. Terrific. And I just love this. I was like, yes, Mr. Terrific's in there. Even though I did not care for his single story or his own book that he had in the original New 52. I really liked him in the old 52 and our old DCU. And so when he returns in this way, it's just like, yes, Mr. Terrific's back. And then we get another great scene where we see that Sloan is actually working on something else. And what is that? But none other than Red Tornado. But this time it's a female Red Tornado, and it's just like, alright, cool, they're switching things up again. James Robinson's doing a great thing where he's taking these characters that we know and love since the olden days, but he's switching them up. That's what we thought we were getting with the New 52. And we get that in this book. James Robinson is doing whatever he can to switch things up just a little bit. Like we got just everything. The characters are different. They're different sexuality. They're a task force now, like how they are with the Sandman group. And it's just so cool to see. I love what James Robinson's doing with the series. This issue right here was more set up than anything, but the next story arc that they're going to have is going to be so cool. I really enjoyed this issue. I can't wait till Nicholas Scott comes back onto the series to draw. And they need to get this artist onto another book. Would it be a good book for him to fit on? Actually, I think it would be Aquaman. I think he would do a kick-ass job at Aquaman. Especially with, I forget what his name is, who's going on to be on the Justice League book. So, good issue. Set up more than anything. And if you're a longtime reader of the series, for the first 7 issues, you're going to get a lot out of it. But if you're a new reader, you're kind of be lost to what everything is going on. So I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. Good issue. Really enjoyed it. So that's it for this week in DC Comics. In my next video, I am going to be doing my Marvel books and my Image books. So I'll see you guys on the next edition of the Comic Fix.